Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. I'm Sabythesimmer aka Sabythesimmer. I hope you're doing well at this Friday. So yes, I didn't get this video up yesterday because I was procrastinating so much and I didn't actually finish this build until yesterday, just before I started streaming. So yeah, but I've been struggling with like builder's block, so it was hard for me to I've started so many builds and not finished them, so I'm gonna try and get back to them. I think it's helped having the new kits in, so I think having those new kits will help me have a bit more inspiration when it comes to building. And to be fair, I think I'm just inspired by building like British style homes in The Sims. I don't know why, but I went through a phase where I did quite a few and then I kind of paused on that, but then now kind of inspired again to do some more. So here we are doing one. So I do have a reference image because I saw it on Instagram and I was like, oh, I can build this in The Sims. It's a simple enough shape, and that's normally what draws me to a build I see on some maybe Pinterest or Instagram or Twitter. I just think that's a shape I can create in The Sims without too many problems. Because everything is very much straight lines in The Sims, so I have to bear that in mind when I'm doing a build. I need to make sure that there's enough straight lines that I can copy that can make the build look the same as the reference essentially. And like you guys already know, if you're new here, hi, you won't kind of know this, but when I have a reference image, I do follow through with the exterior a lot, and then the interior is where I kind of play around and do my own thing, because most of the time I don't look at the interior other than the floor plan, which I did do for this build. I did check out the floor plan for this one because the site I saw it on, on the Instagram page, they actually post the floor they actually post the floor plan as well, so I actually got to just follow the floor plan. And it's hard to do it to size because the build looks bigger, inside looks smaller actually, but in The Sims it had to make it a bit bigger to figure out to factor in floor what do you call it, I forgot what the term is, but basically the space that your Sims need to be able to walk around, and they need to be able to move items around, to pull out a chair, all that kind of stuff. So because I have to bear that in mind, you always have to be a bit bigger, and because there is only a tile space, there's no half tile, you can't put a wall on a half tile. Basically it has to be on a full tile. It means that your builds tend to end up a bit bigger than maybe the reference, and this is the case for this one. I feel this looks bigger than it would in real life. In real life I feel this would look kind of smaller, but then it's kind of deceiving because then the inside would look kind of narrow. And yeah, it was interesting to try and figure out how to put it together and make it look as realistic or as much like the reference image as possible. I was in a good run. I was able to record these voiceovers without having to pause, without having to edit too much. So I'm hoping today is the same. But like I said, well, not like I said, but the reference images, you would have seen there's two builds in the reference image, and I furnished just the one on the right, the one that I'm doing here with the conservatory. I really wanted to use that conservatory space, and I just liked the fact that it had a conservatory space, so I decided to decorate this build instead of the other one. And with the other one, I did create the floor plan, so the floor plan is all mapped out for the other build. So if you do want to go into the game and basically decorate the first home, you can do so, because that one's empty. It's just got a floor plan. I've just added wallpapers and floor tiles, but I've done literally the same that's already in the main build. The same white wallpaper, because when I actually go in and decorate the rooms, I actually change the wallpapers depending on the vibe that I was going for. But yeah, this is very typical in terms of British style homes, and I say British, but I think it's probably specifically London. You probably can find them in other areas in the UK. I wouldn't be surprised if they were in other areas of the UK. I can't even remember what the location of this house was actually, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was London, somewhere in London. There are a lot of terraced homes, and this is what it's called if you didn't already know. It's called a terraced home, and I don't know if it's a terrace or terraced. I think it's terrace, singular, but even though it's together. But anyway, it's normally a row of homes, and they will all look like this, stacked together, stacked next to each other, and basically kind of the floor plan definitely feels very British, because there's one bathroom and 3 bedrooms. It really bugged me that was the case. It really bugged me, because I normally like to have at least a half bathroom. If I only have one main bathroom, I at least like to have a half bathroom downstairs, but I didn't know where to put it, and I didn't really have the space for it because I was literally following the floor plan that it was coming with, and because the floor plan didn't factor in a half bath, I was like, where do I put it? But if you're someone who can really renovate builds, then go ahead and take this build, renovate it, maybe change the rooms around, do a full on I should say renovation, and then basically knock down walls and add an extra bathroom and all that kind of stuff. But I struggle to like renovate builds sometimes I find it easier than other times, but yeah, I just have to be in the mood for it, I think. But yeah, I don't feel like I know a lot about like British style architecture. Like I can look at a home and be like, oh, that's, you know, very much like a British style home, but I don't know enough like facts and historical facts. Like there's probably a reason why there's only one bathroom, even though that technically 4 Sims would probably live in a home like this, but they're sharing one bathroom, which I think is insane. Like when you live in a house with 4 people and have to share one bathroom, honestly and truly, it feels like it's just the most stupidest thing. So I just don't understand the architectural design behind it, but I'm pretty sure there is a reason. There probably is, and I just don't know what it is because I haven't like googled it or I haven't researched it, but there probably is a reason. I just don't know what it is. But if you know, do let me know in the comments. Like I'm happy to learn. Like if you already have this information, like do share. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do another British style home. I mean, the next build that you'll probably see is the one that I'm doing for Newcrest. I love the exterior for that build, but I struggled so much to furnish. I don't know what it was. Like I just tried to furnish, I was like, I'm just not feeling anything. So I'll try again now that we have some clutter pieces and different things. Maybe that'll give me some better inspiration. But I love the exterior. I did go with a green home. I didn't go as like bright green as I thought I would. I did go kind of like a soft pastel green, but you'll see it when I post it next week. I need to finish it and edit it. And yeah, what was I also thinking about? Yeah, but I did stream me kind of building some townhouses and like furnishing it. Well, just kind of furnishing it. I'll post that stream up for Sunday so you can watch that. But yeah, I wanted to test out new kits and I decided to do another like British style home. I don't know why, but I'm just in the mood for it. So I did some townhouses and I just finished one. I just focused on like a teen bedroom, an office space, the living room, kitchen, dining space. That was all oh, and a little gym, like home gym room. That's all I furnished because I kind of just based what rooms I wanted to furnish based on the clutter that came with the kits. So yeah, let's talk about the kits if you don't mind. I like the clutter kit. I feel like it could have came with some more items for sure. I think 30 items in total. I was watching, I think, Little Sim's video and she counted the items. But yeah, I definitely feel like we could have done some more clutter pieces for sure. Like if it's a clutter kit, I just want the maximum amount of like clutter basically. So it definitely could have come with more clutter, but I think the pieces that came with was pretty cute and useful and like handy because it is everyday clutter, so it was very much like the everyday stuff that you would use. Also, a good point to add, I think it's very good for storytelling. So there was like kind of things in there that you could help tell a story for your sim. So like the shoebox that's open, like I was thinking of decorating a teen's room and they're like a fashion vlogger or something like that, and like they've just been gifted a pair of trainers and they just did a video on it or something like that. I don't know where my voice is going, but if you have, I think it's Get Famous, I think that's what the pack's called. Is Get Famous, then you can do like that kind of vlogging, uploading videos to like SimTube. I don't know if this actually called YouTube, it's probably called something else. But that whole vibe, like you could decorate an office or a room to make it look like they just have like packages from like press that they've been like PR that they've been gifted and things like that. I thought it was a cute storytelling piece, and also there's like a little watch in a box that could be like a treasured item or like a family heirloom kind of thing. I can't remember whose video, I think it was Nicole's video that I was watching, and she mentioned that they could have done one with like a ring in it, and I said yeah, that would have been cute to have like a ring box, or like even like a ring stand. Like, you know, you can get the ones that's just a hand and then you can put the ring on it. That would look cute in a kitchen, like next to a sink. Like you might take your ring off to do the washing up, things like that. I don't wear rings, so I don't know for sure, but I've seen it in films. So I'm kind of basing it off of that. But I think that would have been cute as well, those little touches like that. I was gonna say a rug, but then I was like, that's not really clutter. A rug isn't really classed as a cluttered piece. That's kind of like decorative as opposed to like clutter. So yeah, I don't know what else I would have wanted for clutter. But I really like the mugs because like there's a swatch of the mugs that come with like tea bags in it, and then there's also like dirty mugs. I like the concept of that. Like the washing up hasn't been done yet, so you still got some dirty mugs hanging around, or maybe they had a quick coffee before they went to work and they had to rush out and they didn't get to like put it in the sink or whatever. I like the fact that they came grouped, but you can also have like singular mugs as well, so you can like place the mugs anywhere you want. The only thing I was like, we was laughing about this on stream, it was like the Sims had one job. All they had to do was copy all of the group swatches of the mugs to the singular mug, but they didn't. So the single mug doesn't have the swatch with a tea bag hanging out, and I'm like, it bugs me so much because I don't drink coffee, but because I like tea, I kind of have the preference to give my Sims the tea maker more often than the coffee machines. Like, especially if I'm playing in the Sims, like I often give them a tea machine as opposed to the coffee machine. But if I'm building for just like a general build that I'm going to post up in the gallery on YouTube, I might put a coffee machine in there. So those mugs make sense for that. But when I want my Sims to like sip tea, like I don't want a single mug. I do want a single mug, but I want a single mug with the tea bag thingy hanging off of it, like the little the tag that's on the tea bag. I want that to hang out on my cups, and I was a bit like, damn, bit frustrated with that. But anyway, that was like the kind of kits. The pastel pop kit, I didn't mention that, but like I think it's a lot altogether. Like I'm not a very like colorful person when it comes to the building in the Sims. Like I definitely don't draw towards a lot of color. Like I'm very minimal, or I go for very safe tones and colors when I'm building. I say this as there's like orange chairs and like purple like umbrella chairs and stuff like that in these gardens, but like for me this feels safe. This doesn't feel like it's such an outlandish color or so wild that it makes me feel uncomfortable, like, oh, it's just not working. So I tend to just go with my neutral swatches. So the pastel pop kit is definitely out of my comfort zone for sure, but I like the items separately. Like the items are good separately, and I also think they would work well with other packs. I did see a comment on someone's video and they was like, oh, this doesn't work with any of the packs, but I think it kind of does. I think just not all together. Like you can't have a lot of the pastel pop items in the room as well as other packs, because it's just going to clash a lot, which can kind of make sense, because if you're doing like a child or teens room, their rooms aren't really supposed to look that aesthetically pleasing, because they're children, they're teens, like they just like what they like, and oftentimes it's not always cohesive. So it kind of can tell a story in that sense of like they've bought this bed at a different time, and then they bought the end table because they saw it, or maybe they saw it at a charity shop, or whatever the case may be. Like you can tell a story with it. But in terms of like if you're just strictly a builder and you kind of prefer to just build and you want things to work well together, yeah, I don't think the pack works well for me. It's out of my comfort zone to put it all together. So I did try, like on the stream, I did try to put everything from the pastel pop kit in one room, and I was overwhelmed because there's just so many colors, so many different patterns and shapes going on. I was like, what do I do with all of this? I think I kind of made it work, but then I did switch up and add in some other things, like from Parenthood, like the mirror with the light bulbs around it. Like details like that could really help to blend the room in and kind of make it feel a bit more like childlike or teen-like, because I think that's what the kit is really given. It's not really given like I'm a really like adult sim. I mean, obviously adult sims and adult people can like whatever styles they like, but it's very much to me like it says teens room, child's room, that kind of vibe. But that's because it's not my personal preference, so I don't see myself as an adult using it in like real life, but I could see it in a teens room or a child's room easily, like without a doubt. But I am anyway, I enjoyed the kits. I enjoyed using them. I will be using them in future builds, so you won't see them in this build because I built this before. Like I finished it yesterday, but before the kits came out, so I didn't get to use it. But yeah, I will be using them in future builds for sure, especially the Clark kit for sure. And especially when it comes to like hall tables or like accent tables, I always never knew what to like put on them, but now we've got like keys, we've got like a coin jar thing, we've got a trinket box, like little things like that you can put on an accent table that's in the hallway, because that just makes sense. Like it's just a place where people would throw things, because it's like the first surface that you come to when you enter the home, that kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, I've spoken through I've spoken through some of the build already, but I've just been waffling on about kits and British style homes and things like that. But it's very British to have your washing machine, if you have a dryer, also in the kitchen. So I obviously put it in the kitchen because it just made sense. That's where they go in my mind anyway. And I forgot to put a washing line. I did want also a washing line outside, but I totally forgot to put one out there. So feel free to swap to just like take out the dryer. Maybe you don't want a dryer, maybe you prefer the washing line. It's totally up to you how you want to play with this house or what you want to add or take out of this build. Like always, whenever you download my builds, just do whatever you want with them. It's actually so fine. Like I build them because I want to just be creative with a build, but also if it helps to give someone inspiration, or if like maybe they just want this home but they might want to change certain things, or they've seen this build and they're like, oh, I have an idea how to change it or to modernize it or whatever. Like go crazy, do what you want. Like that's why I build, because I want people to like enjoy my build however they want to enjoy it, as long as you're not doing anything too crazy with my builds. Okay, I don't want no like secret dens in my builds, please. No, I'm joking. Do what you want. It's fine, you play however you want to play. But yeah, I did the exterior work. I kept it very simple, the front, the back. I just kept it very simple. To be fair, I didn't know what to do, and from the reference image as well, you could see the back of the house, and it was like all on, like there was like a concrete style patio space, or like is it called a patio space? I think so, but it's like, yeah, so it was like concrete, but then there was like essentially like kind of levels to it, because you would have a step from the back door to the patio spot, and then there's few steps from the patio spot to the grass. And I didn't know how to do those like 3 levels with platforms, foundations, because I feel like platforms and foundations don't really mix well together. So it's like you either choose platforms or you either do a foundation, and then with a foundation you can't do multiple levels with a foundation. So I just didn't want to fight with it, so I just did one like smooth foundation patio space for the garden. I just did that in a wood swatch, and then I just added in a little bit. So like the second garden, I like to decorate the second garden even though if I'm not decorating the second home, just because when it comes to like playing around with it, if you just wanted to play in this home, at least you could see the garden looks like it was being used and it wasn't just this empty void and next to your home. And I did end up placing some curtains as well in the second home that I didn't finish, because I kind of felt like it just made it feel a bit more realistic or lived in, because even if a home was empty, you'd still have like the net curtains. I don't know if there's a separate name for them, but like I just call them the net curtains, the ones that I kind of like see-through-ish those ones. But yeah, we don't have them in the game, so I just did normal standard curtains. And then we did the garden. Like I said, the second garden I kind of did that, maybe it was like an elderly couple, they had a dog maybe, so I put toys out there, space to kind of lounge out, maybe read a book, all that kind of stuff. And then this house, I've got it for a couple. They have a teen, and they have a child, sorry, and they have a baby on the way. But I forgot to put a bassinet in the house. I just decorated a toddler's room, but I forgot to put a bassinet in the house, which is fine, because if you have a baby in the game, like if you're playing around with this home and you are maybe a new couple, or they're pregnant with a child, whatever, you can just like put the bassinet down yourselves, or you know, when you go to the hospital you can get the bassinet sent to you, which I think is free, which, you know, helps. Is the bassinet free anyway? Now I'm thinking about it, I can't remember if it's like 35 simoleons or something, or if it's free. I honestly can't remember, but there's that. But that's what I kind of had in mind, and I wanted it to kind of feel British in the style of like, not really a cohesive style. I don't know how to explain it, but to me the home just felt like warm and inviting, and like a mix between like a modern / kind of traditional-ish vibe, because it's not like super modern pieces, but the little details, like the rug is quite modern in a sense, and like you've got the modern fireplace. It's not a very like traditional like stone and like brick kind of, what do you call it, fireplace. So I kind of just tried to do little things to like nod to like slightly traditional home. Like it's not had a huge amounts of renovation or anything, but there's like a newer couple living there, so it's slightly more modern. But yeah, I did the kitchen. I think the kitchen looks very like washed out, because I went with the kind of like blue and like the very light blue and the light wood swatch of those like basic base game counters. I really like those counters. It works really well in British builds, because it really gives you that kind of like, is it PVC? Not PVC. It gives me that vibe of like the top of the counters can like peel off or like they bubble up if you put like a hot pan on it or something. I don't know if I'm making sense. Like hopefully if you're British you understand what I mean, but I don't know if it's the same in America. Like I don't know what their surfaces are like for the countertops, but for ours sometimes they feel like there's just like that sticky paper stuff. I don't even know what it's called. I can't remember what it's called. There's a name for it and I just don't remember what it's called. But that's the vibe it gives me, those counters, so I just go with it. And it just feels simple, like they were put in ages ago. I could have gone for like but I feel like the other base game ones are super traditional, like gives me kind of colonial vibes, or like traditional homes. So I try not to use them all the time. I did use them in the bathroom, but I think they work in the bathroom. In the kitchen, I think it would have made the kitchen look very, very like dated. So I wanted to look slightly more modern, just slightly more modern. So I'd use those counters. Got fridge. I think we got a microwave as well in the kitchen. I feel like it's pretty British to have a microwave. I mean, I'm pretty sure loads of different people have microwaves, but like most times you go into, there's a microwave, to be fair. We don't have a microwave anymore, but most homes do have microwaves, to be fair, because they're just convenient. You can just use them to warm up foods and all that kind of stuff. But also I did put like an office space in the living room, because we don't have a separate office, so it just made sense to do an office space in the living room. And I kind of like the idea of that. It just felt like this room is very much like everyone's always in there. Like it's a space that's lived in, like people are in there all the time, whether it's watching TV, doing homework together, or eating dinner, because the like dining space is in that same room as well. So I kind of just felt like it made sense to like have a little desk space in there as well. So that desk is for like the parents to use, also the child can use it, because they have a desk space in the child's room, but there's no like computer, so the computer is just a family computer. And with the living room, like I said, I did put the dining space in there as well, because that's how the floor plan was kind of mapped up. It's open plan, dining area, living space all together. And to be fair, it's actually quite a big space. Like It looked like it would have been like really small and like nothing happened in there, but it turned out like I could fit a nice chunky sofa in it, like a 3-seater, and then I've also got like 2 armchairs as well, which works out fine. And then we got the nice little 4-seated dining table. Is it 4 seats? Yeah, it was 4 seats. I wasn't sure if I was gonna film the like hallways, like the top landing or the hallway downstairs, because I was like, there's just not much happening there, is there? But I did remember that we do have a washing machine that dries, so I put a laundry basket in the hallway. I just felt like it was a bit kind of realistic. I feel like maybe not, maybe it is, I don't know. But also I didn't feel like I'd probably have space for it in the bathroom. Like I knew I wanted to like go wall for wall with everything in the bathroom, so I knew I probably wouldn't have space for it. So yeah, we got the sink, you know, got some cabinetry, some like storage essentially for the bathroom. We got a shower tub combo from Parenthood, and then my favorite toilet, which is it gives me very much a British vibes, and I think it is because it's called Johnny. Is it called the Johnny? Little Johnny? It's called Johnny something, or the John, and I'm pretty sure John is a slang term. I don't know if it's slang. It probably would be classed as slang, like probably British slang for a toilet. Like, I'm gonna go to the John. I think that's what it is. So because of that, I use that toilet a lot anyway, but then I also use it specifically if it's like a British build, because it just makes sense, because that is this very traditional style of like a toilet here in the homes, especially if it's an old build and it's not like modernized and, you know, with fancier toilets. So I just went with that because it made sense. And what else did I do that I kind of talked over? I think that was, oh, the conservatory. I wanted it to kind of be a skill building area. So I kind of had in mind, I didn't have a solid kind of like what the parents do, who they are, and all that kind of stuff. But I was going to go with the flower arranging table, but I was like, I do gardening in every single build. So I was like, rein it in a bit. Like, all my Sims are gardeners at this point, because there's always just gardening stuff ready for them to use. So I did put some gardening pots out there, but I thought you can just grow the soy plant. Yeah, I think I was gonna say the soy candle. Why would you grow a soy candle? A soy plant. So you can grow the soy and then you can use the soy to make your candles. So we've got the candle maker in there. We got like some storage, because I felt like in the reference image as well, it kind of just looked like that space was a bit like miscellaneous. It kind of just looked like I just could see like a table and like some clutter and stuff on it. So I kind of felt like that space definitely is used as a bit of a mud room. Like, I know that's more of an American thing, but because there's an entrance from essentially the side of the house straight through to the kitchen and also straight through to the garden, that is a bit of an area that is like a bit miscellaneous. Like, it doesn't have a huge purpose other than just like connecting the home together, bit extra lighting. If you wanted to change like conservatory and have it as like maybe an outdoor dining spot or something like that, feel free. If you wanted to knock down the wall maybe in the kitchen and expand that into the conservatory, like all of those things, I think it's a cool idea. But that's how I kind of imagine it. Like, when I see a conservatory, especially one that's kind of narrow, I kind of see it as a bit of a miscellaneous space or like a bit of a storage space. I feel like, yeah, it just makes sense to just put a bunch of random stuff in there. So I did kind of fill it up with a bit of random things, but I also wanted to add in like something of a skill building kind of sort, because I don't add enough skill building stuff to my builds. I've noticed that. And then the toddler's room came together kind of quickly. I mean, I did kind of like talk through it. So the toddler's room, I just went with like whatever matched the rug. So I saw the cottage living rug and I was like, I never use this. Like, I never use this rug. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna use it today. So I threw that into the toddler's room and I kind of just matched everything of it. So like the rug had like red flowers, I think, and then like bunnies on it and something. I think it was like that. And then I just like threw in like the red beds to kind of, or like the red bed spread to like match it, and then kept with the bed frames, which I normally do. Like, when I'm building something, I kind of tie in wood frame colors or the colors of like whatever I've used in the room to just tie it all in together. So as you can see with the parents' bedroom, I've kind of done with the blue theme. I've gone with dark wood to kind of match in a bit with the bed frame. Just little things like that so that it all feels cohesive. Even if I am doing slightly different tones and things like that, I want to match in something a little bit, and it just helps balance out the room a bit more. I don't know a lot about style and like interior design. This is all like stuff I observe from like other builders and like just for what works for me. And like also, like, we all have our own like things look different to our own eyes. Like, to my eye this works, and someone else's eye might be like, oh, this is a bit basic, like we could add some pops of colors, and like, but we all have our own kind of creative eye and like things that we like to see or like to add into our builds, or like things that are like a must have for you. For me, it's always a plant. I always have to plant in a room, anywhere. And also, I love that basket from Cottage Living with the cushions and stuff in it. I just felt like that worked in here. And I do get bored with parents' rooms, because I'm like, I don't know what to add in there, because I don't really want skill building stuff in a parent's room, because then like they would never leave their bedroom, and I don't think it's very realistic. I wouldn't want to do all my skill building stuff in my bedroom. I mean, I do now, like, I say skill building stuff, but like, you know, the extra curriculum stuff and things you do outside of work. Like, would you want to do that in your bedroom all the time? Probably not. but I do. Like, I build, I do all that stuff, edit everything in my room. But it's my little comfort spot, to be fair. But I think when it comes to The Sims, I like to use other rooms for different things. We've got a computer downstairs, we've got the candle making machine, and like different areas in the room that you can do different things. But I also like to throw a TV in a room because, I don't know, I like the idea of it. But it does get annoying, like when you actually play with it and you have a TV in a Sims room, all they do is sit, like, you'll have a random Sim in the bed watching TV. I'm like, but there's a TV downstairs. Like, what in the routing of this or coding of this makes it seem like, oh, bed, I'll relax here and watch TV, even though there's a TV downstairs? Like, I just don't get it. But it's The Sims at the end of the day. Nothing makes sense, really. But yeah, this is a teen's room. I knew going into this build I wanted to do a darker aesthetic for the the child's bedroom, because often I go for very generic, like, if it's a girl, pink, kind of yellows, that kind of stuff. If it's a boy, then blues and oranges, and, you know, so I kind of like do a very like stereotypical style of a bedroom. So I wanted to go for a slightly darker aesthetic for this one. I did have in mind it was a girl. And I'm laughing because in my head I was like convinced I have a storyline for this child. Like, no one else in this family but the child I have a story for. Do you know that when you're younger and you get asked, like, your teacher will ask you, your parents ask you, what do you want to do when you grow up? Like, I saw the cow plant poster and I said, this child said when they was asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? They said, I want to have a farm for the cow plants. And I planned it out in my head and I was like, I built this in Willow Creek, but I was like, cow plants are a pretty big deal, like a pretty big deal in The Sims, right? But what if I went with the whole concept of like, cow plants are a bit of like a rare find. People talk about it as like it's this mystical creature, or like you don't see often. But this child's Sim is convinced that they're gonna have a cow plant farm. Like, they're gonna explore the world and find every single cow plant they can find from each different world in the game, and then they're gonna have a whole farm of cow plants. So I was like, the teacher probably thought the child was a bit crazy and probably had to have like a talk with the parent. So like, you had the whole school day of like, yeah, I want to have a cow plant farm, and like everyone in class laughed. So there was a bit of bullying going on, so everyone in class laughed, so like, yeah, right, like, good luck finding a cow plant kind of thing. And then the teacher was like, yeah, oh, that sounds great, like, you know, but patronizing, and then called the parents in and was like, yeah, your child's crazy. Like, they're talking about cow plants. Like, come on, when's the last time someone's seen a cow plant? I had that going on in my head. Like, and I was just convinced the only story I have for any of the Sims living in the house is this child. So this child is convinced they're gonna have a cow plant farm, and they're gonna find all the cow plants in the different worlds in The Sims 4. And that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, I just wanted to go for a slightly darker aesthetic, and I wanted to use that, what do you call it, It Takes Two poster that came into the game. We are getting some more stuff that's like coming into the game. I was talking about this on the stream, but I think because it's free, we're gonna have a bit more like free advertisement of other games and stuff in the game. Yeah, I saw something, I think it was not Nescar, I forgot what it was called, but there's another brand, and we're getting some stuff, I think the 17th. And then also on the 17th, D Sims collaborated with The Sims, and we're going to get 2 new hairstyles, which I'm excited for. The Bantu knots, I really, really am excited for them. But anyway, guys, this is a 30 by 20 lot. I totally forgot to mention any of the details. It's 30 by 20 lot. It's like 82k, I believe. That was the price. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Floor plan is the same in each of the homes, so feel free to do what you want in the second home. If you want to have 2 families living here, go crazy, have fun with it. But if you enjoyed this video, do leave a like, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. And also, if you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. I'd really, really, really appreciate that. And I appreciate all the new subscribers and the subscribers that I've got recently. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. But I'll see you in the next build or in the next video on this channel. Take care, guys. Bye.